Hello and welcome back to Betty's Glam Boutique. I am Betty. Now today I have a video of an update on the case that I recently started to share here on my channel. That is the case of the Moscow, Idaho, 4 college university students whose lives were taken while in the comforts of their home. This occurred last year in November of 2022. So if you are interested in that topic, stay tuned. The students are 21-year-old Madison Maddie Mogan, 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves, 20-year-old Xana Cornodal, and 20-year-old Ethan Chapin. Let's take a look.
Kaylee Goncalves, her best friend, Maddie Mogan, their roommate Xana Cornodal, and Cornodal's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, were all stabbed to death in a house near the University of Idaho campus last November. The case has captured the attention of people around the world. Brian Koberger, a Washington State University PhD student, has pleaded not guilty to the murder.
The way I wanted to roll my videos out for this particular case, this is out of sequence because the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, was recently out at the 1122 King Road address, which is the home or the house where the crime took place. Now, as we currently stand, we are quickly and fastly approaching the 1-year mark of the date that these students' lives were taken, okay? It currently is November of 2023, and the case that I'm referring to occurred on November 13th, 2022. So here is something that was always a question to me, or something that always concerned me about the evidence that was gathered and collected from the King Road address. What I did not say in my previous video is this. 1122 King Road was a known and understood party house, okay? A party house is exactly what it sounds like. It's a house. It doesn't have to be a house. It can be an apartment, a house, a studio, just a place where people tend to gather on a frequent basis and they have a party, okay? That's just simply what it is. A party house, you're having house parties, okay? And it just seems to me that anytime a crime has occurred at a party house or a house that was known to have parties, I never could understand how the police department could leave that dwelling, and there should be tons and tons of DNA left there to have been gathered and collected and processed at a party house, right? You have people in and out. You have males coming and going. You have females coming and going. You have, in this case, one of the roommates had a pet, which was the dog Murphy, that was there on a frequent basis. But the point is that there's people there often. They're partying, they're drinking, they're laughing, they're cooking, they're joking, they're dancing, they're hooking up, they're drinking, doing drugs. All of those things would be properties of what would happen and occur at a party house. So if you have a scene of a party house, how then could it be that the only DNA that the prosecution has that they're working with or working from is a knife sheath that was said to have been left in the bed on the 3rd floor where the lives of Maddie, which is Madison, and Kaylee, where they were together in bed, found there as victims, and their lives were taken, and there was a knife sheath. They're saying that on that knife sheath, on the fasten or the button that you would clasp the knife sheath or fasten the knife sheath or close it was some touch DNA of Brian Koberger. Okay. And we're working with that. If that's what they found, that's what was there, then if those are the facts, then those are the facts that we're going to go with here at Betty's Glam Boutique as well. The question, though, is this. How could it be that that's the only DNA that they're working with or working from when it's a party house? Wouldn't there be sweat and semen and blood and tears and fingernails and hair fibers or clothing fibers from other people in that dwelling if it's a party house? I just don't understand how you're able to just isolate. So I was watching one of the court hearings or court proceedings on this case where Brian Koberger's attorney, Ann Taylor, I believe is her name, and I'm hoping that I'm saying her name correctly. I'm just going from memory right now. She was asking for some other unknown male DNA that was also found to be at, in, or around the home of where the 4 students' lives was taken. Now, one piece of DNA was said to be a match to an unknown male DNA that was found in the home. Another piece of DNA was a match to an unknown male's DNA that was found in a latex glove outside on the ground of the property. So there are moments where I'm watching other people's video on this topic and comments are being made. If Brian Koberger is so innocent, why won't he and his defense team go forward with his trial, which is a death penalty case, without the unknown male DNA that was found on the latex glove outside? And that's mind-blowing to me, that someone who is knowingly on a death penalty case would go forward with a trial knowing that there is some unknown male DNA on a latex glove, ladies and gentlemen, that's on the property outside, on the grounds outside somewhere, that was found by the police department. That could be the very fabric of information that you would need in order to exonerate this suspect that's on trial on a death penalty case. There's no way. So you have Brian Koberger's defense team asking for that DNA of the unknown male that's on the latex glove, and you have the prosecution side saying, well, we didn't process the latex glove with the unknown male DNA because we didn't think it would be relevant. In what world would that evidence not be information that would be relevant in a death penalty case? Ladies and gentlemen, that's the very fabric of information that could exonerate Brian Koberger if he either, 1, did not commit the crime at all, or 2, did have some dealings with the crime, but there may have been a second or third person involved with him in some fashion. You see what I'm saying? Under no circumstances would I be willing to go to trial on a death penalty case or any kind of case when there could be some information out there that the prosecution did not process because they said they don't feel like it's relevant. It's very relevant. Everything is relevant in a death penalty case for someone taking the lives of 4 people, okay? So where that latex glove is concerned, I would like everyone to drop in the comments your sincere thoughts about this. If you, like I said, if you found yourself in a peculiar circumstance of a death penalty case, or someone that you know is on a death penalty case, there's a latex glove that was found outside on the property with an unknown male DNA in that latex glove, would you be willing to go to trial without that information? Like, run me the name of this person so we can determine who this person is, why their DNA is in a latex glove outside of the property of a crime scene of 4 students whose lives was taken. Would you be willing to go to court on a trial without that information? This is just an honest question. And just let me know down in the comments. And when I do my next follow-up video, I will read what your comments are and see what the commonality is. Do most people feel okay going to trial without that information? Or do most people want the prosecution to do their job, I'm sorry, and do their due diligence to give you the name of the person who's associated with the DNA that's in that latex glove? We want to know. Here's something about my stance on Bryan Kohberger, because I don't want to get the wrong impression going, and I know that this is a very sensitive topic. Where I am at with Bryan Kohberger is that I'm somewhat in a indifferent position, somewhere balancing between the middle, okay? I do not have enough evidence that was presented to me so far that says, yes, 100% Bryan Kohberger is guilty of these crimes. On the other hand, I also do not have enough evidence that says 100% that Bryan Kohberger is innocent of these crimes. What I am saying is that I do not have enough information to make a decision here at Betty's Glam Boutique of his innocence or guilt. Okay, so I can go in either direction with this, depending on the direction that the evidence takes. So another piece of evidence that was talked about and collected or gathered in and around the home is a latent footprint. I want to talk about the footprint. Okay, so it is said that there was a latent footprint found near or close to the front of Dylan's bedroom door. Okay, so let's talk about Dylan's bedroom door, because the way the house is set up and the way Dylan's bedroom, which is on the second level being the same level where Xana and Ethan was also found to have their lives taken, in a bedroom also on the second level. Let's talk about that second level, because before we get to the footprint, we need to talk about how that bedroom is positioned in the dwelling and how many times the suspect, according to Dylan, who was clad in black, had to bypass and go in front of her bedroom door multiple times. So let's talk about that. We already talked about in the previous video, in the probable cause affidavit, Dylan, which is one of the surviving roommates, said that she herself saw the suspect in the dwelling clad in black. Okay, you know how I feel about the clad in black, so we're not doing that again today. We're moving forward. Now the thing is, she said that when she saw him, he was walking past her bedroom door, and he left out through the kitchen, through the sliding glass double doors that would allow him to go out into the property from that back glass sliding door leading out of the kitchen. So let's just assume the suspect came in the door and out of the same door when it was time for them to leave that location. And if that should be the case, Dylan's bedroom door is going to be a very, very, very high traffic area, because her bedroom door is the door that the intruder would have had to have passed in order to go up the stairs where Maddie and Kaylee was found to be lives taken on the 3rd floor. So there's one time the suspect would have had to pass Dylan's door. Then when the suspect came back down from the 3rd level to the 2nd level, he or she would have had to pass Dylan's door a second time to get on the 2nd level where Xana and Ethan, their bodies were found to be lives were taken on the 2nd level. Okay. Then Dylan said she saw the person clad in black as he was coming from Xana and Ethan's bedroom door and passed her bedroom door in order to go back out through the sliding door where he made an exit from the dwelling. So that's at least 3 passes in front of Dylan's bedroom door on the night, or any given night, but particularly on the night of this particular crime. Now, at some point in time, I'm getting back to the footprint. At some point in time, there was a footprint left in front of Dylan's bedroom door. Now, the footprint is said to be a footprint of someone wearing a Vans, a V-A-N-S shoe. Now, here at Betty's Glam Boutique, I don't own any Vans shoes, but I know someone who does own a Vans shoe. So I did look underneath that person's shoe, and it is a very distinct foot pattern or shoe footprint that a Vans shoe has. Okay, and I will try to post it somewhere on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, what you are seeing here is the bottom of a Vans shoe print. A Van, V-A-N-S, okay? It's just simply a casual shoe that many of the students there in the Idaho University have been seen wearing on police body cams. We're going to go through that at a later date as well. But I know Bethany definitely has a pair of Vans that she was wearing on the day that she opened the door at the 1122 King Road address and blatantly, flat out lied to the police department when they asked her for the tenants or the people that live there, or I think they asked for the owners of the property, but we know what they were wanting. What they were wanting was whoever the residents are that occupy this space, this home, this dwelling. And she's one of the residents that occupied that space, and she told them that she would go and get them, closed the door, and left to go and retrieve the people who live there, which she's one of them, and never came back. She was wearing Vans that day. However, that's not what we're doing right now. We're talking about facts, and we're talking about what they found in the probable cause affidavit. I have a question about the footprint that was found. First and foremost, they said it was a latent footprint. And I did look up the word latent, and basically what that means is that it is a footprint that was hidden and that you could not see it with the blind eye. So if you're walking in the dwelling and you're looking at the floor, you don't see this footprint just by looking down at the floor. They had to use a special chemical, whether it was a spray or something that they're dusting, like kind of like looking for fingerprints. We've seen it in different various crime movies where they're dusting and looking for fingerprints and footprints and things like that. That is how they was able to find this latent footprint. Okay. Okay, what I am not understanding is the properties of a footprint. I can understand if it was one handprint, because all you would have to do is simply touch something and oops, there's your handprint. One handprint. I can understand if they said it was one fingerprint, because you can just simply touch something and oops, there's one fingerprint. It's kind of hard. You're going to have to really, really explain to me how a person can cast off one footprint. Because the properties of a footprint is that someone is on their feet. And if you're on your feet, you're either walking or running or jogging or skipping or hopping, or you're doing something on your feet as to why a footprint could have been left in the first place. Okay. What happened to the other footprints that led up to that one footprint? Where are those footprints at? Where is the 2 or 3 or 4 footprints that had to occur before you got to that one print? Or where are the 2 or 3 or 4 footprints that would happen after that footprint? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for one footprint to show up somewhere by itself, because the properties of a foot is that someone's on their feet. And I thought about this really hard, because I'm thinking outside the box down here at Betty's Glam Boutique. We're trying to help the situation and not be harmful to it, right? To me, the only other way a footprint could show up by itself would be maybe if someone was holding a shoe and the shoe fell right there in front of Dylan's bedroom door. But to me, and that therefore leaving only one print. You see what I'm saying? The one print would be there. But I feel like wouldn't Dylan, that's too much moving around by Dylan's door that she would have either saw or heard, because Dylan's awake. She's in her room right there on the second level, and she's awake. Okay, we know that from the probable cause affidavit, because she went to her door 3 different times, engaging with this entire ordeal as it unfolded. Okay. And we talked about the different numerous times that Dylan went to her door. She went to her door when she thought it was upstairs on the 3rd level, said it was Kaylee and her dog Murphy. Then she went to her door a second time and yelled out. This time it was Xana in Ethan's room, where she told them that, hey, shut the F up, she's trying to rest or whatever. Then on the 3rd encounter, when she went to her bedroom door to look out to see what all the ruckus and noise is, she saw the suspect and he was clad in black, and this is what threw her into a frozen shock phase. So we know that Dylan is awake. Okay. So to me, I feel if she's awake and someone is out there dropping these heavy ass Vans shoes by her bedroom door, seems to me she would hear that. And she didn't mention anybody dropping a Van shoe next to her door in the probable cause affidavit. So it's only left to assume that that did not occur that way, right? And furthermore, when she say she saw the person clad in black, why did not she say he was carrying some shoes under his arm or in his hand or around his neck? She didn't mention anything about any Van shoes in the suspect's hand or in the suspect's possession, is what I'm saying. Okay, so it's safe to assume that the suspect was not carrying Vans as he was walking through the premises. So I'm back to, how do you get one footprint in front of Dylan's door? The only other magical rabbit out of the hat that I can pull up as to why you would have one shoe print and no other footprints that lead up to that one or away from it would be if someone cleaned them up. And you mean to tell me Brian Kohlberger went in there like Houdini in a floor plan of a home that he has never been in, three levels, a first level, a second level, and a third level, entered into the home with no forced entry, unalived 4 people, whom some of them was awake, because we know that there was a tussle between the suspect and Xana for certain, because of her family saying that she fought. Then we know that there was a tussle between the suspect and Kaylee for certain, because we know that according to Dylan, Kaylee made a comment that someone is here. So we know Kaylee was awake when her attacker confronted her. And some people say he may have changed his outfit. Some people say he it's a lot that's being said, but now we have to factor in he also cleaned up these footprints, because somebody cleaned them up. I don't see how there could be one footprint and this doesn't reek of some type of cleaning. And I still leave room for margin of error. So if this was not a cleanup, where are the other footprints? Where are the other footprints that go with the one latent print that they did find? Should they, I mean, where are they? How did they disappear? Now, see, I wasn't trying to go back to the 8 hours, but that leads me back to the 8 hours where the 2 surviving roommates did not call the police department for a good 8-hour time lapse between the actual crime taking place, which is the time they narrowed down the incident to have occurred, and the time that the police department was called to the scene of the crime. If the incident happened in the 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock a.m. time hour, and the police was not called until 11:58 a.m., we're going to round it off and say 12 o'clock noon. That's 8 hours that lapsed. And Dylan says that she was frozen in shock. She was in a frozen shock phase, according to the probable cause affidavit. Dylan, 8 hours later, the suspect has left the property, sweetheart. The suspect has 8 hours later, the suspect has crossed the border. They're in Mexico. Go thaw your ass out, go defrost, and call the police department for your friends. Oh, see, I'm back on the 8 hours. I wasn't going to try to get back on the 8 hours. I'm sorry. Let's get back to the footprint. Okay, friends, so I do not understand how the prosecution could possibly say that the latex glove that was found outside the dwelling of the 1122 King Road address was not relevant. In what cartoon world is that evidence not relevant? Like, the FBI should definitely be back at 1122 King Road, because it wasn't enough evidence that was gathered and collected the first time around, if you ask me. This is a party house, and I don't understand how you would not have... I'm thinking you're going to come out of here saying we have 10, 12, 13 different male DNA that we have to process, and just give us a few weeks and months while we get all of this sorted out. Not that, oh, the only DNA we have is on the knife sheath. And I'm hoping that, I know there are times when you find your one suspect and then you stop investigating the case. This seems like a textbook case of them doing that. I'm hoping that they're still processing the scene. I'm hoping that they are still coming up with multiple or other suspects as well. And or they are at least trying to fine tune the information that they have so far for Mr. Brian Kohlberger. implementing him in this crime, and that there will be more evidence that will come out to sway the masses one way or the other. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end my video right here. So what we talked about in this video is the fact that this is a party house, and not very much DNA seemed to have rendered from the property, which was questionable. The latex glove that was found outside with an unknown male DNA in it, and the prosecution feels like it's not relevant. And the one latent footprint that was found right in front of Dylan's bedroom door. So those are the three things that we covered here in this video. The next video, I want to talk about some other possible potential suspects. So bye everyone, and thank you all so much for joining in today as we talk more about the Moscow, Idaho taking of 4 student lives. I want to say rest in peace. I want to say I hope the family is able to eventually find comfort and resolution in this matter. And everyone have a great day. Thank you.